Up-and-coming Celtic band, the Chivalrous Crickets, performed an all-Scottish program at the Museum of the American Revolution in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia St. Andrew Society owns a sword on loan to the museum that once belonged to General Hugh Mercer.
Hugh Mercer, after needing to escape Scotland, sailed over here to America. He befriended George Washington, and he ended up fighting in the Revolution here. He fought in the Battle of Princeton, which is actually where he died, and Mercer County is named after him. My family's Scottish, and when we were younger, they wanted to put us into Highland dancing, but there wasn't a place at that time, a studio to learn it at, and you were near us. So we got involved in Irish step dancing instead.
I grew up in a family of musicians. My parents play musicians professionally. My mom owns a violin studio and teaches at the collegiate level. And so my two sisters and I were sort of born with instruments in our hands. We were all trained classically, but my mother had already gotten very involved in Irish music. So then we all got very involved in Irish music. It's a band of husbands and wives and sisters and best friends and old friends. And
Genevieve, the fiddler, is my sister. And Bradley, our bass and cello player, is her husband. Paul, who is our many-plucked instrument player, is my partner. And Ben Mattis is one of our oldest friends since college age.
And then Benya Stewart in the band is born and raised in, Appalachia. So he brings to us probably the most pure American tradition. One of the key elements of the sound of the Chivalrous Crickets is that there are sister voices in it. There are sometimes when Fiona and I will listen back to a recording, and if we didn't know our parts, we wouldn't know which one was singing which. I even have trouble identifying whose voice is whose.
Weary spell she's laid on her, she'd be with child for long and many's the year, but the child she would never bear, and in her bower.
Many of the members of the band are early musicians, and what that really means is they play music that was written before 1800. They are trained to do that.
The name, the Chivalrous Crickets, is derived from the medieval bestiary, a catalog of animals in which the cricket is described as a small, jolly animal who sings, forgetting all else.
And that resonated with us because in our lives, no matter the responsibilities we've had or the challenges or the pressures on us, we're always just, in our family, bursting into some song, and ultimately we're always just going to be making music whenever we can.
So close to me all night.
The other tradition that we bring into the group is Appalachian and old-time music.
American folk music, you can almost think of it as like the Mississippi River, but it has all these tributaries from various other traditions. One huge branch of it is from the Scots-Irish people who settled in the mountains. But another massive part of American folk music that you cannot ignore is the music that was brought by people who were enslaved here. And the banjo is an African instrument. The Celtic music blended with this African music and ultimately random groups of other people who were coming through. And then these tunes just kind of stuck in these little communities. I think there is a balance to be struck between preserving something that has come down to us. We're artists, we're creative types, and I think every artist, every singer puts their own little spin and their own little flair.
The Chivalrous Crickets practice in the Princeton Junction home of members Genevieve and Bradley King. They have performed at the nearby West Windsor Arts Center and in Princeton's Harrington Woods. Bradley, once the lead singer for the Philadelphia Boys Choir, directs the community choir at the historic Dutch Neck Presbyterian Church.
An overriding trend in this band, for whatever reason, is instead of writing songs that come from a personal place, the majority of us write songs that are influenced by anecdotes, stories, pieces of history.
She wrote a song about Joan of Arc because that's a wild story. We're all used to kind of the story of that, but when you really look into it, you're like, wait, what? This was crazy and true.
We all know she was burned at the stake, and I don't know if people know much past that. She was only 14 when that happened. She was quite religious growing up, from a very young age, and she claimed to have all of these visions. And at a certain point, she became obsessed with getting an audience with the King of France to let him know that she had heard a message from God that told her how to defeat the English in the 100 Years' War that was going on at the time. And she marched with him at the head of the French army for close to a year. And during that time, they actually did experience enormous success. They won most of their battles until she was captured by the English. And what's really sad is that when that happened, the French made no effort to ransom her back.
Making music, the creation of music, writing a song, it's essentially magic. People talk about music as being the only true universal language. And that's really true. We all can do it, and we all can do it together no matter where we come from.
The New Jersey State Council on the Arts, encouraging excellence and engagement in the arts since 1966, is proud to co-produce State of the Arts with Stockton University. Additional support is provided by these friends of State of the Arts.